again, this is Jean and Janine from Pranalink.com. As we mentioned in our previous video outlining the music of the plants, we are showing you how to make white pine needle tea, which is high in vitamin C. There's a story about the white pine needle tea where the settlers were dying of scurvy, and they noticed that the indigenous Indian tribe were still very healthy and not succumbing to scurvy. And they asked the Indian what their secret was, and it ended up being this wonderful pine needle tree that up until then the settlers were dying under, actually held the key to their health and longevity. So they started making this white pine needle tea, and because it's high in vitamin C, they were cured of their scurvy, and then they weren't succumbing to that disease anymore. So currently on social media, there's a lot of talk about how this pine needle tea could possibly neutralize the spike proteins that are causing the havoc to people that have come down with COVID-19, or even some of the people that were having the reaction to the vaccine. There is some belief that the reactions are caused by the body creating this spike protein in order to build the immunity against COVID. So we will show you how to make this tea from this wonderful white pine needle, and you hear the music in the background. That is the tree itself still singing to us. Now, other types of pine trees will work as well. The white pine needle is one of the best because it has the higher amounts of vitamin C in it. But you have to be very careful because there are some pine trees that are toxic. So you have to really know what pine tree you're using and research to make sure that is not toxic. So anyway, Jean has started already by cutting the branch that we cut in the prior video into smaller pieces. And this is what the pine needles look like. And what you want to do is cut the dirt end off. You don't want to have that in your tea. And then start making like 1 inch sections on this. So Jean is just cutting it right off the tree so that she's not getting the dirt into the tea, instead of pulling it out. Some people just pull it out, and then there's like this little bit of dirt on the end that you have to clip off. Either method is fine. And then you cut it into smaller pieces, like so. You need a pretty good amount of it for your tea. And some people like to add, you'll steep it in hot water, and some people like to add ginger, grated ginger, and honey. I like the idea of star anise and fennel seeds because they also have a lot of antiviral properties. And maybe even putting in some elderberries, which is also very good for your immunity. So I'm going to pause now while we finish up this tin, and then we will show you how to steep and how to make the tea. We're back in the house now, and you see we have a nice full tin of the pine needles, and we have the kettle on. There are some recipes out there that suggest that you boil the pine needles in the water, but we believe that actually damages some of the vitamin C. So we recommend that you boil the water separately and then steep the tea for about 15 minutes. And I'm using this nice pot because I made the mistake of trying to do it in a nice glass container, and because of the hot water, I broke the container. So that's just one recommendation. Also, once you cut all of these wonderful pine needles, your hands get really sticky from the pine. And what we've done is washed our hands and actually used lemon essential oil to help cut the stickiness, get your hands clean. The other thing we recommend is to get fresh needles. There is also controversy over whether dry needles or fresh needles are better. We believe that the older the needles get, the more that the nutrients are depleted. So we recommend that you get fresh as you make your tea. So anyway, I'm going to wait until the whistle blows, and we'll put the water in the pot then and let it steep for 15 minutes. Another tip is to try to catch the kettle right before it boils. Again, we want to make sure that we protect the nutrients that are in the pine needles. So here we go. You see that the water is hot, but it was right before boiling. Hot enough to get the nutrients out of the needles, but not so hot that it destroys the nutrients. So anyway, we put the lid on and let it steep for 15 minutes. And in 15 minutes, we'll come back to it, and we will have nice tea to strain. Okay, so now we've let the tea steep for about 15 minutes, and it's cool now, so we can actually put it in the glass without it breaking. So Jean is straining it now into another pot. You see, it's kind of a light tea. With the first time I had it, I was pleasantly surprised. I was expecting it to be really strong, pungent pine taste, and it's really a very light, very flavorful tea. Flavorful tea. And I've had it with the aniseed and the fennel seed, star anise and fennel seed and elderberries included in the seeping, and that was very good. This right now is just the pine needle, but it has a lot of fantastic nutrients. She's double straining it here a little bit to try to get most of the needles out of the liquid. Let me see what it looks like. And again, when I put the star anise in, it had a little bit darker color. And you can put honey or any other type of sweetener that you might like to enjoy the tea. So you can also use frozen fruit as ice cubes. It makes it a little more fruity tasting. But overall, this is just a very nutritious liquid to be consuming, especially with all of the concern about viruses flying around right now. It's good to keep your immune system up. And again, it doesn't have to be the white pine needle pine. It can be other pines, but please do your research and make sure you know what type of pine your tree is, and do research to make sure it's not toxic. So anyway, that's the liquid. It's ready to drink. I'm ready. Are you, Jean?
I'm ready.
All right. See you on our next video.